Coming up, our main event, 12 rounds, junior welterweights, Diosbelys Hurtado and Quiles. But first, here's Brian and Max.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much. Time for two, the Max. I've never seen a low blow combination before.
Gelato Bow, the rematch.
I think that might have been worse.
A three-punch combination.
Here we go. We'll set the clock. Sorry, I started you on that. Here are the official questions.
No,
it does not count against your time. We'll get ready for the main event again, just about a moment away. But here we go. Jason from Greenville, South Carolina. In the wake of Hopkins Trinidad, how do you rank Buddy McGirt over Simon Brown as upsets or one-sided victories category?
No, Hopkins came into the Trinidad fight. I think he bet the money of that GoldenPalace.com, they put on his back $100,000. He got that. He bet that. I think he got 4-to-1 odds. I don't think McGirt was a 4-to-1 underdog in that fight.
But you're saying also a one-sided victory.
It was a dominating performance, but Hopkins knocked Trinidad out. McGirt also did knock Brown out, although there were some similarities there. Good point.
I think it was a good question. Ryan from Maine, in your opinion, who's the better all-round fighter, Bones Adams or Tim Austin?
I love Bones Adams. I think other than Barrera at 122 pounds, he's probably the most accomplished guy in recent years. Maybe also Morales. Probably Tim Austin from what he's shown so far, but it's close.
Joe from Nevada, California. What's keeping Lucia Riker from appearing on the undercards of big fights? Riker with the rep of being the best women fighter in the world. We haven't seen her.
I couldn't tell you that. I saw Lucia at a fight not too long ago, maybe 6 months ago, and asked her the same question. I couldn't get an answer that I could sink my teeth into. I don't know. The answer is I don't know. I don't think she knows.
Yeah, Manny Stewart is now training Lucia. We haven't seen her yet. Maurice, but he's only had her a short period of time. Maurice from Toronto. Oh, we got this in. Before the inceptions of the sanctioning bodies, how were world champions recognized? What type of belts did they hold? That's a pretty good question.
Early on, believe it or not, there have been periods in boxing history where magazines and newspapers have awarded belts. Ring Magazine, which is now recognizing the champion again. You see how I work this in here every which way? Is doing it again. But early on, the Junior Welterweight Championship, that was started by a magazine, write-in, and media outlets back then, which was before electronic media, would often determine champions. But there was always been sanctioning bodies in one form or another.
Yeah, it's funny. In Floyd Patterson's living room, he has the Ring Magazine belt that's recognized, and happy birthday to Floyd Patterson as well.
Ring Magazine started ranking fighters. I mean, there were no rankings at all. There were champions and then just a bunch of guys who were recognizable. Ring Magazine started ranking fighters. That's where it came from.
We are set for tonight's main event here on Friday Night Fights, presented by Miller High Life from Miami, Florida. Diosbelys Hurtado, El Kid Santiago, born in Cuba, now fighting out of Miami, Florida. 33 wins as a pro, 22 knockouts, one of the top-ranked junior welterweights in the world. He made a name for himself back in 1997. Round one against Pernell Whitaker. For Whitaker's welterweight crown, a right hand put Sweet Pea down. Whitaker was looking ahead to a fight against Oscar De La Hoya, but Hurtado nearly ruined the plans. Scored another knockdown in round number 6. But in the 11th round, Pernell Whitaker, down on the judges' scorecards, came in with a barrage. And referee Arthur McCanty Jr. would stop this fight. Sweet Pea would survive with a win, but Hurtado had made a name for himself. In 1998 in California, he took on Costa Tszyu for the WBC 140-pound title. Taking this fight on less than 2 weeks' notice, Hurtado used his right hand again to drop the champion. Not once, but twice in that first round. But once again, Hurtado was not prepared. The short notice didn't have him ready physically, and Costa Tszyu took control. Hurtado would go down from body shots in the 5th round, and Costa Tszyu would escape with a win against Hurtado. We saw Hurtado here on Friday Night Fights against Rivera in May of 2000. He would win a 12-round decision, not one of his best performances. Tonight he takes on Quiles from Davie, Florida, fighting out of Lorain, Ohio. 31 wins as a pro with 8 knockouts. Quiles is a guy who really feels like he is ready to make his mark. Stepped up in class in July of 1999 against Goyo Vargas and came up on the short end of the stick. Would get dropped in the 5th round, lose a 12-round decision. But he's bounced back. He's come back with some solid victories, like this one in last year. Quiles explains what the keys are going against Hurtado tonight.
He's a great fighter, and he does have a long reach. So I'm going to be stay close to him where he can't extend them punches all the way through. So that would stop him and eliminate him from power punching. And I know that he's not a good body puncher and good inside. He doesn't like to fight inside, so I think that's one of my keys, that I'm going to be fighting a lot inside and take the fight to him.
I can fight him in any distance he wants to fight me at. If he wants to come inside, I can fight inside. I can fight the 3 distances. You know, I can fight middle distance, long distance, inside distance. So any way he comes in, any way he comes to fight, he's going to find out I'm going to be the better man.
Strategy time as we take you inside Atlas's world.
For Diosbelys Hurtado, the WBA's #2 rated junior welterweight, to win tonight, I tell him to set the tempo and use your style. Feed your strengths. In this case, make your opponent feel relaxed, let him follow you, then suddenly stop and rip off fast combinations with your quick hands. Don't loop the right, throw it straight. Against the southpaw Quiles, you'll be looking to land your right. You've got a much better chance of tagging him if you throw it straight. It will get there faster. And finally, learn how to finish. If you get Quiles in trouble, don't let him tie you up. Don't accept a clinch. Keep your hands free and keep punching. Finish the job. For the southpaw-style fighter, Ricky Quiles, to upset the favorite Hurtado, I tell him, don't jump or reach in. As I said, Hurtado has quick hands. You could get dropped by a sneaky counter right. Beware. Stay out of no man's land. Either be far outside his range or in close. But you must pick one. Hurtado has a very long right hand. You might think you're safe from it, then bang! You cannot relax. And finally, Ricky, reverse rolls on him. Your opponent is sneaky. He wants you to follow him so he can suddenly stop and attack you. Don't let him surprise you. Break up his rhythm by reversing rolls. Make him come to you, then catch him. Now you're keeping him off stride. For one of these fighters, it's the start of a very happy new year.
Ricky Quiles, in his last 5 all victories, his opponent's a winning percentage of 82%. Last fought on July the 1st. Diosbelys Hurtado defected from Cuba in 1994 during a tournament in Connecticut, a top amateur in Cuba. You get a look at his last 5. Was not allowed to participate in the 1992 Olympics because the Cuban officials felt he'd defect then in Barcelona. Bill Connors, the referee. Unified rules used for this 12-round bout. No 3 knockdown rule. No standing 8 count. Fighter cannot be saved with the bell in any round. Only the referee can stop it. Accidental foul. They'll go to the scorecards after 4 rounds are complete. So we're ready to roll for our main event. Hurtado told us, we asked him about fighting southpaws, and he said, hey, listen, of my 221 amateur wins, 75 of those came against southpaws. Said, I beat Yoel Casamayor. I beat a lot of good guys in the amateur ranks. I fought a lot of southpaws. No problem.
And he fought one of the greatest southpaws of all time, Pernell Whitaker, who he was beating until Whitaker caught up to him in the 11th round.
Up on all 3 judges' scorecards in that fight. In fact, Hurtado told us he would rather fight a southpaw. Quiles is fighting with a heavy heart. His girlfriend, Marianne Chaburka, her father, John, was a father figure for Quiles, and he passed away in early December due to a heart attack. So it's been a tough time for Ricky and Marianne.
One of the reasons Hurtado likes fighting southpaws, he has the medicine, the right hand. But there you saw the looping right hand. He needs the straight variety if he's going to land. Gloves must be wiped off by the referee there. He made Hurtado wipe them on his trunks since they touched the canvas. He pick up dirt. The dirt can get in the eye of the other fighter.
That was especially important in the days that the fighters used to step in a tray of rosin as they came into the ring.
You're exactly right, partner. That's where it started. You picked up rosin on your gloves and then put it onto the face of your opponent. That could do bad damage, temporarily blind your opponent. A lot of the old timers like the right hand against the southpaw. As we said, Hurtado, that is his power punch, and he just missed with it there. Right now, what's going on is Quiles is I think, has the right idea so far. He was making Hurtado come to him. Hurtado's style is not to walk forward, which he's being forced to do. Hurtado likes you to come to him and then hit you with sneaky right hand. You can see Hurtado is not as good when he has to make the action by coming in.
Well, you saw it in that clip when he dropped Costa Tszyu for the second time in that first round. It was Tszyu who was pressing, and Hurtado shot that right hand in there.
Hurtado has fast hands. He is the power man of these two fighters. And that power comes from the right hand of Hurtado. But as we said, Hurtado likes to counter. What he likes to do is move around the ring, get you to come forward, and then drop a right hand on you. There, he can't do it. He has to reach.
And that's why on ESPN2 back in 1997, for instance, he had a lot of success against Emmanuel Burton. Dominating a 10-round fight, Burton came at him, and Hurtado was able to do his thing.
Hurtado needs a little cooperation. He's not getting it right now.
Hurtado was pressing the action in this first round. Round number 2 underway. Diosbelys Hurtado in white, Ricky Quiles in the Army fatigues. And Teddy, interesting strategy in Quiles' corner in between rounds 1 and 2.
Yes, his corner people were telling Quiles, hey, that's not what we trained for. Come on. You're supposed to walk forward, step forward, get after this guy. But I'm not so sure that's what Quiles wants, and I'm not so sure Quiles isn't right. His instinct is to do what he did the first round, to box a little bit and try to get Hurtado to come out of his style. I think maybe coming forward with Hurtado might be the wrong strategy. And Quiles, I think, as we just said, instinctively feels that. He doesn't want to walk into one of those right hands. I think the strategy of Quiles is, I think it may be right, is to try to get Hurtado to come to him a little bit.
This is where Quiles has to do some work. He told us yesterday when he gets on the inside, he's got to dig to the body.
See, if Quiles is going to come forward, he must be careful as he crosses that line, that punch line. Not the date line, but the punch line. Right there. He must come in behind the jab and with a good defense, or he will get tattooed. One of those quick right hands by Hurtado.
Quiles' second punch there was a left. Got in there. Hurtado not very accurate with his combination.
You see the noises, or you hear the noises from Hurtado. A lot of fighters traditionally snort out of their nose. Hurtado makes noises out of his mouth. Could be one problem with that. He's not open. He gets caught. Could get a broken jaw.
He got caught right there.
Again, it might work for Hurtado, but this is not his style, having to come forward. Quiles has the right idea. Try to get Hurtado to come forward, out of his style, where Hurtado can't sit back and counterpunch. But Quiles must move his hands at the right time. When he gets Hurtado to miss, like that, Quiles must come back. Right now, Quiles is only doing one part of it. One part of the equation, making the punches miss. He must throw back. He's going to have a chance to be the man in this fight.
Quiles did land 2 good lefts in this round. Ooh, clash of heads there. Welcome back to Miami. Bob Papa, Teddy Atlas. Friday Night Fight presented by Miller High Life. Diosbelys Hurtado, Ricky Quiles. Round number 3 scheduled for 12. So far, Hurtado has been able to control this fight, although he's had to have been the aggressor for the most part in these first 2 rounds.
Hurtado has not gotten the landscape he likes yet. He might get it this round as Quiles starts to move forward. Hurtado loves to move around a little bit, move around, get you comfortable, and then stop quickly and catch you by surprise. Sneak attack with the right hand as you come You can see that is what is on the mind of Hurtado.
Quiles told us he's got to stay in there and do his work and not let Hurtado extend that right hand.
Quiles has a problem. He wants to win the fight. Part of him wants to be aggressive, but the other part, the intelligent part, says, I don't want to be overly aggressive. I'll walk into those counters. A good quick fist at Hurtado. Quiles has to find the balance, the mixture.
Hurtado digs nicely to the body there with the right and left.
Hurtado, the stronger man. As we said, the bigger puncher.
He just missed with his right hand.
Hurtado has the better physical tools, the better physical skills. Quiles very game and a southpaw, but so far not finding a way to use that southpaw style to his advantage. There, Quiles got into good distance and landed a nice left hand. He was able to get into good range. Right now, Quiles is in the pocket, in the scoring zone. He needs to let those hands go when he's in that zone. Make the most.
Not throwing enough, though, Teddy.
No, he's not. Needs to take better advantage of those situations. And once Quiles is close, then he may be able to catch Hurtado stepping out. Hurtado does go straight back.
Quiles has landed some shots, but too few and far between. As we mentioned, Diosbelys Hurtado, an outstanding amateur from Cuba. 221 amateur wins, defected to the United States in 1994. Just couldn't take it under Fidel Castro anymore in the system. Teddy, you have a list of some of your all-time favorite Cuban fighters?
Yes, I do, and there have been some real good ones, no doubt about it. Kid Chocolat, Kid Gavilan, Luis Rodriguez, Jose Napoles, Kid Ternero, who beat the great Ezra Charles as a middleweight, by the way. Ezra Charles was a great middleweight and a great light heavyweight.
All right, who is your favorite on that list? Do you have a favorite?
I tell you, it's very close. You could mix those names up any way you want almost. Kid Chocolate, Kid Gavilan, Jose Napoles, Luis Rodriguez, who beat Emil Griffin. Any way you want to go. Half dozen of these, half dozen of those.
Kid Chocolat, Kid Gavilan, the two favorites from Diosbelys Hurtado. That's why he's sort of taken the nickname El Kid in honor of those two.
Oh, those guys were terrific fighters. Some great fighters. And then if you wanted to touch into the amateur status, well, Cuba had a few of those too. One that comes to mind was the three-time Olympic champion, heavyweight champion, Tefilio Stevenson.
And you have Felix Savon.
Felix Savon, who I was fortunate enough to call his fights in Sydney this year. Last year, during the 2000 Olympics.
2 years ago.
Oh, now it's 2 years ago. You're right. Calendar can play tricks with you.
Tell you, there are spots for Quiles to get some things done.
When he gets close like he is there, he must move those hands like he tried there and go to the body. Because the head of Hurtado will be elusive, but the body will be still. You bang that body while it's still, then the head will not move so much later.
As Quiles said, when I get inside, I got to dig to that body and not let Hurtado get that right hand off. Smother that right hand. Do my work on the inside like that. Not let him create space.
Exactly right. And he's doing it right now.
And Hurtado can't get those hands extended. Shoots a right hand.
Hurtado has long arms. He needs room to land that right hand, his bread and butter. And it's up to Quiles not to give him that room. See that? There was room. That is where Quiles must be careful as he enters that punching zone. Now he's in a good position. He must stay there, not pull out. When he's in the kitchen of Hurtado, he should stay there and eat. Take out the utensils.
But he's got to make sure, as you pointed out in Atlas's world, either be all the way in or all the way out.
Exactly right, Bob.
A couple times he's gotten caught here in no man.
There's a recipe for victory for Quiles. This is it. Get inside, get in the kitchen, and move those hands. Bang that body. And he doesn't have to be real choosy. Just keep those hands moving. Don't wait for the openings, Bob. Create them.
Fifth round in full swing. Let's see if Quiles can build upon a solid round 4.
There's two keys to the fight here. One is for Quiles to get in and be careful he doesn't get caught on the way in.
Hurtado landed 30 power shots. Quiles landed 26.
The other is when Quiles gets in, he must do damage.
Getting the scorecard through the first 4. And the third round even. He has a 39-38 for Hurtado.
That left hand from the southpaw, that backhand, where the orthodox fighter's not used to seeing it come from. Landing from Quiles. And it landed because he got into the right zone, to the right distance. He was allowed to get close enough by Hurtado. Hurtado is not dictating distance and range real well. He needs to do that to be effective. He's not really an inside fighter.
Well, the first 2 rounds, Quiles stayed away. And now in the last couple of rounds, he's moved it toward the inside. And he's worked that body of Hurtado. They felt that Hurtado did not like the body attack. Quiles responds to Hurtado's combination. Hurtado comes right back.
And watch Quiles, he must stay there and bang, not fall out and give room to Hurtado. Every time there's a little room, Hurtado is dangerous with that quick right hand.
Oh, good right hand to the body. Quiles.
And if you're thinking about how this is going to go down the stretch, as far as experience, let's remember, Quiles has fought 2 former world champions. Hurtado, of course, fought for the world title 2 times. This is becoming an interesting, entertaining, good fight.
And Quiles must remain disciplined and either stay all the way in.
Little room there. Hurtado gets off. You're right, Bob. The key word, discipline. Must be disciplined to get in close and stay there, not fall out, and to stay on that body.
Thunderous body shots in this 5th round. Most of them being thrown by Ricky Quiles, who's taking it to Hurtado in Hurtado's backyard. Let's give it over to Brian Kenny.
All right, guys, thank you very much. Quick update here on Oscar De La Hoya and Fernando Vargas. 2 sides getting much closer. Gary Shaw and Bob Arum will meet either Tuesday or Wednesday, May 4th in Las Vegas. They're now up to $6 million for Vargas plus a percentage, and now it looks like this could happen, Max.
This is going to be a great fight. Fernando Vargas has never been in a bad fight in his entire career, ever. And
Thanks, Brian and Max. Things are truly heating up here in Miami as Ricky Quiles has gotten this fight toward the inside, Teddy. And he's been able to get body shots on Hurtado.
Very game, Quiles. Quiles that's paying attention to his P's and Q's. Dotting his I's, crossing his D's. He's being aggressive, but clever and intelligent in his aggressiveness.
You see another very close round as far as the numbers are concerned. But you have to like Quiles with the way he's been able to dig in there and work that body.
Couple key elements to look at in this fight. One is, we know Quiles wants to be in close. inside those long arms and quick hands of Hurtado. But he must get in the right way without damage. Behind his jab, taking steps, moving his head, and then once he's in there, do damage.
Neither guy is really using the jab. Last round, they each landed one jab apiece.
But Hurtado needs his distance, needs range, needs to use those wheels a little bit to set up his strength, which is counter-punching. Unexpected punches.
Well, Quiles is following his plan. He's staying right on top of Hurtado. He wanted to smother him. Doing a pretty good job.
Once again, when Quiles gets close, takes the risk, gets past the risk, gets inside like he is now, he must make the most of it. Because you don't want to get back outside after you worked so hard and took the risk to get inside. You don't want to be back outside where there's danger to face again.
You just wonder what the effects of all these body shots will be on Hurtado as this fight wears on.
Well, there's no wonder for Quiles. He hopes that it wears down Hurtado, takes his legs away, which it may have done already, because Hurtado's standing in front of Quiles. He wants to take some of that confidence away from Hurtado, that confidence he gained in fighting for the world title twice. And one good way to take confidence away is to bang that drum, hurt the body.
Right cross there for Hurtado. He's missing most of those punches.
But there was a little room. Quiles wasn't all the way in, and he wasn't all the way out.
There's the body attack again from Quiles. Good left hand in the body.
Quiles is all the way in right now. Oh, now he fell out. Or Hurtado stepped out. Interesting fight here, Bob.
Welcome back to Miami. Bob Papa, Teddy Atlas. Round number 7 underway. Diosbelys Hurtado, Ricky Quiles. Over the last couple of rounds, Quiles has turned this fight into an inside fight. He's worked the body effectively. And at the end of round number 6, Hurtado was slow going back to his corner while Quiles was raising his arms as if he was rejuvenated.
Getting confidence, which is what you want, especially if you're the underdog going into the fight, as Quiles was in this case.
In the last 2 rounds combined, Hurtado has only landed 1 of 24 jabs. Quiles 1 of 16.
Hurtado trying to set up his strengths again. Go to his style. Use those legs, stay outside, get distance, get away from that body attack of Quiles. Try to set up room for the right hand. Hurtado's always looking to land that right hand. And he does better with it when he's not leading. You saw him lead. It hit air. He needs a little cooperation, Hurtado does, to be effective with that right hand. He needs an opponent walking forward, an opponent following him around. The danger zones for both fighters are the exact opposite ends of the spectrum. Danger zone for Quiles is when he's coming in on the outside. The danger zone for Hurtado is on the inside. Is Quiles doing enough when he's inside?
Well, he had been.
This business is not about had. It's about consistency. They don't raise your hand after 6 or 7 rounds. In this case, it's after 12.
Hurtado blocks the combination to the head. Tried to shoot his right hand. Over the last 3 rounds, Quiles has sustained a big-time body attack, but he is not going to Hurtado's body. He does flip a right hand over the top, or left hand over the top.
Nothing fancy for the success of Quiles. When he gets close, he must move his hands. When he does, he has good success.
Hurtado stepping into his punches. Very busy round for Diosbelys Hurtado. And there's the bell to end round number 7. Sugar Ray Leonard, of course, promoting tonight's card. A lot of Cuban amateurs have defected to the United States and turned pro. Ray talks about their success or lack thereof.
That happens to a majority of the fighters from Cuba, unfortunately. But it's reality also. They come here to America, and it's like a candy store. And what happens when a fighter loses that drive, that desire, that hunger to be somebody, everything else goes down the drain. And there are a few fighters that can maintain that drive. A kid like Hurtado reminds me of a kid who wants it, who still wants it. And he has not lost that desire. He still wants to be a world champion.
Of course, Joel Casamayor has succeeded, but others have not. You know, these guys are fighting for nothing for years in the amateur program in Cuba, other than the Olympics and the spoils that come in Cuba. And then they get to the U.S. and they see the do-re-mi and all the spoils, and they don't all stay focused.
No, I've said that many times on this program. When they hit the shores, sometimes that is their title belt. And the passion and the incentive and the discipline disappears. And without that, I don't care how good an amateur you are. And the Cubans had many great ones, and how much talent you have. But if you're not disciplined and determined, and you don't work at it, other people will pass you by, even with less talent.
Teddy, in the last round, Hurtado did a better job of controlling the distance to the distance that he wants.
Yes, he did. He made little adjustments there, Bob. Even when Quiles got close, Hurtado was able to step back and get distance. And for the most part, Hurtado was able to use those legs to keep the fight where he wanted it. Keep some range.
Quiles did not go to the body as much in the last round.
That's one of the reasons why the legs were able to be used by Hurtado.
There's Teddy's scorecard. He has it even. He has that even round. I have Hurtado up by a point, 67-66.
Either way you cut it, there's two things you know. It's a close fight, and it's a good fight.
Well, Quiles is fighting in Hurtado's backyard. And even he admitted that I have to be better than just good.
See, even when Hurtado got distance there, watch when he throws. He's reaching in, he's falling in, he's flailing a little bit.
Well,
because he's not used to having to take the initiative. He's used to you coming and walking into his punches.
I'll tell you also, he might not have the legs because of all the body shots he's taken.
Good point.
Not as stable as he might normally be.
Not keeping his hands up, Hurtado, quite as well as he did early. That might be some of the residual effects of trying to block those body punches. This is where Quiles must be creative, must step back as he's doing. Step back, create room, create punches. Find ways to punch. Some fighters find ways to tie up, others find ways to create offense. Quiles must find ways, as he's doing now, create offense.
But not enough in this 8th round from Ricky Quiles.
If Hurtado is going to be successful, this is the style that he will employ. Moving, picking the spots, moving again, trying to get Quiles to walk into punches. Keep distance and be successful.
Round 9 underway. Remember, this is a 12-rounder. Quiles has Hurtado where he wants him. This is where you want to see him get real busy here, Teddy.
No doubt about it.
The body shot there. He throws a good left hand. Hurtado responds back.
Guess what? There's distance.
Well, Hurtado got caught there, feet into the punch.
Timing can beat speed, Bob. And the speed belongs to Hurtado. But Quiles is using some good timing.
Very entertaining fight.
This is a solid fight from bell to bell.
There's Quiles putting those punches together.
Again, it might come down to not if Quiles could get inside where he wanted, but did he do enough when he gets there?
He had Hurtado dragging near the end of that 5th round with all those body shots.
Quiles very game. And at the same time, thoughtful, smart. Not just walking into those right hands of Hurtado. Hurtado wants a little carelessness from Quiles.
Quiles pushed him off and hit him with a shot.
Oh, breaking there, breaking.
Both fighters are emptying their tanks, not leaving anything for the locker room. You have to appreciate, anybody watching this has to appreciate both these warriors' efforts.
Excellent pace in round 9. Both guys landing solid shots. Round number 10 underway. Diosbelys Hurtado in the white. Ricky Quiles in the military fatigues, the camouflage. No knockdown so far in the fight. The corner of Quiles said, hey, you get in there, you got to let your hands go. You got to dig in and go.
Absolutely correct advice from the corner of Quiles. Early on in the fight, Quiles wanted in the early rounds, didn't want to walk forward. Wanted to make Hurtado come to him, get a feel for the timing of Hurtado. Wanted to get a feel for the tempo that Hurtado was trying to create. Now, since Quiles has gotten an idea of that, Quiles needs to be inside, where he can do damage, where he can take the room away from Hurtado.
And I think because Quiles has not been effective with the body punches over the last couple of rounds, it looks like Hurtado has gotten that second win. He's up on his toes a little bit more. Most of that missed. Teddy's scorecard, 86-86. Have an 87-84 for Hurtado.
You notice Hurtado's starting to fall forward a little bit. The effect of those body shots, trying to smother Quiles a little bit, falling in. If Quiles would take a well-timed step back, he could walk Hurtado into an uppercut.
But I think if he takes it at the wrong time, he can eat the right hand.
That is the science of boxing. That is the balance. That is the trick. Boxing is not all about strength, not all about physical assets, not all about going out there and being the guy who just throws punches. It's about putting it all together consistently with resolve and with cleverness, knowing when to punch, when not, and how. A guy like Rocky Marciano was heavyweight champ of the world. People thought, hey, just overpowered guys. Well, he landed punches when he needed to. He had a science. He had a discipline to it. He would start one hand, throw the other. It was not an accident that Rocky Marciano would pull fights out of the fire. magic Hurtado's looking for, the trick he's looking for, is by setting up movement, trying to walk Quiles into something.
Hurtado controlled the distance effectively in round 10. Brian and Max with a boxing update.
That's some more news from the week gone by, Bob. Lou DiBella, former HBO executive and now promoter matchmaker, is suing middleweight champion Bernard Hopkins for libel and breach of contract. Hopkins said he paid $50,000 to DiBella to help put together a bout while DiBella was still at HBO. DiBella says the allegations, Max, are preposterous, saying he loaned him $30,000, and that's the only money that changed hands. It's a shame to see these two guys going at it like this.
Yeah, listen, Hopkins reportedly is going to sign with Don King for $35 or $40 million over his next 6 fights. Go get that money, champ. You deserve it. However, remember the people who helped get you to the position you're in now. Before you were with Lou DiBella, your purses were a lot smaller. No one knew who you were. You signed with DiBella. Suddenly, you're making $1 million purses. You're the undisputed champion of the world. King was the guy who blocked you from what was rightfully yours, the undisputed middleweight championship, for the last almost decade.
Let's get back to the main event right now. Bob Papa and Teddy Atlas in Miami. Guys?
Teddy, doesn't it seem like every good boxing relationship winds up in court?
Too many of them.
What a fight here. Ricky Quiles, Diosbelys Hurtado. Quiles throwing in the mid-60s, 70, 80 punches per round. Last round, he only threw 44, according to CompuBox, and his corner urged him a few rounds earlier. You've got to let the hands go, but Hurtado's done a nice job controlling distance and space.
Well, we said from the outset, this fight is about styles. Who can impose their style better than the other? The style for Quiles is to get inside safely, not to get pot-shotted on the outside, and then to do damage and to do work when he's inside. The style for Hurtado is to have distance, use those legs, move a little bit, pick his spots, try to catch Quiles by surprise.
Bob Papa, Teddy Atlas, Miami, Florida. American Airlines Arena. Glad you can join us for Friday Night Fights presented by Miller High Life. Diosbelys Hurtado and Ricky Quiles in the ring. Hurtado in the white trunks, 33-2-1, 22 knockouts, ranked number 2 by the WBA in the junior welterweight division. No knockdown so far in the fight.
Sometimes you have to be able to notice an opportunity. Notice. Be aware of something that could give you an edge. Right now, I think something's happening. I mentioned it in the last round. Hurtado is falling in. Watch him. As Quiles presses, Hurtado will fall forward at spots. Not that spot, because Quiles just stood out in front, allowed Hurtado to move and score with his hands. But watch when Quiles gets close. Hurtado will fall in. Right there, looking to grab. I think Quiles is missing the opportunity by not stepping back. Sometimes your instinct is to push against the guy, wrestle with him a little bit. And the smart thing to do, the educated thing to do, is to step back. Create room. Let your opponent fall into a punch.
Some of the middle rounds, Quiles got to the inside. He made this hard on Hurtado. Devastating body shots, but he got away from it. Hurtado has regained his legs. Quiles with a nice combination on Hurtado.
Again, Hurtado's falling in. Was bothered by those punches. Watch Hurtado fall in. See how he falls forward there, Bob? Anytime he falls forward, there's an opportunity for Quiles to step back and create an opening.
Not enough for the round, though, for Ricky Quiles. Hurtado finishing strong.
Want to play better golf? Learn from the game's top pros and teachers when you subscribe to Golf Magazine. Call now to get more distance. Straighten your slice, sharpen your short game, perfect your putt, and more. No matter what your level, you'll enjoy the game more because you'll play better with Golf Magazine. For today's kind of golfer, you'll get full coverage of the pro game, great new courses you can play on, exclusive deals, and more. Call now to save 67% and get this Golf Magazine gear bag free with paid subscription. Call now.
Friday Night Fights on ESPN2 has been presented by Miller High Life. To live simply, proudly, boldly, manly. This is the High Life. We are in Miami, Florida. Cool evening in Miami. Unseasonably cool, but hot in the ring Diosbelys Hurtado and Ricky Quiles from the American Airlines Arena. And Teddy talked about Hurtado falling in.
And Quiles missing the opportunity. Now Quiles doing some good scoring here. And watch, Hurtado falls in. Looks to grab. Don't allow him to grab. Quiles had the edge there. He should have stepped back and allowed Hurtado to do damage to himself, to fall into a punch.
Well, like the thermometer in Miami over the last day and a half, Quiles' punch output has plummeted, throwing in the mid-80s down into the 40s and 50s over the last couple of rounds, the important rounds.
That was a good left hand a moment ago by Quiles to the body of Hurtado, but he must keep his hands free when in there and do some steady work.
Quiles is not a big puncher. The latest he ever recorded a knockout was the 9th round. That was back in 1993.
This is the kind of close fight where the outcome can still be in the balance very much in this last round.
Do you have it close?
I have it 106, 104 for Hurtado.
Number 107, 102 for Hurtado. Really only giving Quiles 3 rounds, 4, 5, and 6 when he did the devastating body work.
Again, there's distance, and that means the quick hand of Hurtado can do some work.
Then he gets away wisely.
And then he grabs right there. And again, at this point, if Quiles believes he's behind, he needs a big punch. He can get it if he can see what Hurtado's doing. You have to be clear-minded, though. You can't just be aggressive. You have to see. There it is again. Hurtado falls forward. Quiles has an opportunity, I think, to score some big punches here, Bob. There's still enough time with 1 minute left. And he must score them. When he presses forward, watch Hurtado. Hurtado will fall forward. It's up to Quiles to take advantage.
Hurtado.
Again. Hurtado fell in. Quiles allowed him to. Hey, Quiles, you got to stop allowing Hurtado to grab. You have to have the discipline, the wherewithal to step back now and punch.
Hurtado letting the leather fly in these last couple of rounds, controlling the distance. He got his legs back around round 9 or so, and he's been able to maintain the proper distance. Quiles landed a good left hand there. Hurtado answers right back. What a fight.
Give these guys a hand.
What a way to start 2002. Diosbelys Hurtado and Ricky Quiles. We'll find out how the judges had it scored after this timeout.
A lot of folks find cause to complain about the snow. It slows things down, makes it hard to get around, and so forth. Why not turn those heaven-sent lemons into lemonade? Put part of the power bill on old man Winterstep. If he's willing to keep those tall blondes cold, the least you can do is drink 'em. That's the light way to live, the high life.
In the last round, according to CompuBox, Diosbelys Hurtado outlanded Ricky Quiles 31-15. Poured it on over the last 4 or 5 rounds after being bothered by body attacks from Quiles in the middle rounds. Teddy Atlas's scorecard reads as follows. 116-113 Hurtado. I had it 117-111 for Hurtado. Let's get the judges' scorecards from ring announcer Jeff Connor.
Ladies and gentlemen, we go to the judges' scorecard. A big round of applause for what a great main event at the American Airlines Arena. Judge Green and Judge Ray scored the score 119-109 Hurtado. Judge Al Walensky scores it 117-111 for the winner by unanimous decision and new IBA World Champion from Miami, Florida, Diosbelys Hurtado.
Well, the ring announcer took all the suspense away by telling you who the scores were for.
Well, it hasn't been a banner night for Jeff. Anyway, Diosbelys Hurtado wins a unanimous decision on the judges' scorecards. Earlier tonight, Elisir Castillo, down on 2 of 3 scorecards, knocked out Andre Perlet in the 5th round. That wraps it up from Miami. For Teddy Atlas, Max Kellerman, Brian Kenny, Bob Papa saying so long for Miami. Hurtado a winner. ISKA Karate coming up next. You've been watching Friday Night Fights on ESPN2.